First half, would you say that was the worst half of the year?
Yeah, no doubt, by a fair way. I thought their pressure and defensive application, Fremantle's, was very good, but nothing that we hadn't talked about and prepared ourselves for. We knew what was coming with it, but I thought theirs was very good. Ours was poor. Our ability to win first hands in the first quarter was below Fremantle's, and our ability to move the ball in the first quarter was below Fremantle's. In the second quarter, started to get back into it in the first 5 or 6 minutes, and tactically I thought we were playing catch up against them, and we couldn't quite get the tactics and the structure right in the second quarter, which was disappointing from the coach's point of view. And then the second half we were able to then get our hands on the ball and then start to dictate the game a little bit to our extent. I think the third quarter we were even inside 50s. They still got some fast breaks. We didn't get any reward for our effort. In the last quarter, we played the game like we'd love to play it, especially against Fremantle. But to their credit, they were a lot better than us in the first half, and the game was done and dusted by then.
Matthew, is there a danger that last quarter allows you to flutter?
No, not at all. I'm proud of the way the guys fought out the second half. If we had gone back to last year, we would have ended up losing that by 100, 120 points. So they were able to fight it out, even in the third quarter when it didn't become, Fremantle just putting numbers back. We were able to fight the ball out and play it on our terms and still try and get him back involved in the game. So we'll have a look at that, but we certainly won't gloss over the first half, especially the first quarter.
The issue of skills just goes ad nauseam, and decision. There's now also decision making that doesn't seem too flash either, does it?
Oh, I think it all plays into it. There's an extent of how much pressure Fremantle bring to you, and defensively, any team coached by Ross, they take away your time and space, even though there was plenty of times that we had time and space, but they do take it away, and you can feel as if there isn't as easy kicks or easy decisions on, and that was certainly played into what you saw in the first quarter. There's a bit of that going on for sure.
Does that game make this management now even more critical and maybe even easier to make some tough decisions there?
No, look, it's against a very good team. It's against a team that's trying to play finals football. Like Essendon 2 weeks ago, we were playing against finals football, so we'll review it as much as we did our list, as we did last week win, and as much as we'll do this week's win, and what we'll do for the next 5 weeks, we'll review it as much as we can. But look, this week's game and today's game doesn't, for me, doesn't highlight, show up me anything that I think what I have on the list and what we don't have on the list.
It's re-emphasise exactly what you haven't done.
A little bit it does that, but it also shows you what we still need to continue to do as a football club and what we still need to work on. And there were times in the second half we were able to do what we wanted to do, but we weren't able to do it as well in the first half, which is much pressure on us. So we'll keep going back to that, and we'll keep trying to lift our Fremantle standard of football. Not only defensively, but the way they move the ball is exactly the way we're trying to do it against them, but they just did it a lot better than us.
You got too much patience then?
Well, there's no need to. If you don't have patience, I don't know what that does. I hear Damien Hardwick, I hear James Hird or Bomber Thompson saying if players don't do this, they can be shown the door and move on. You've got a list, you've got to work with it, and you've got to teach them, educate them, and persevere, but also demand high standards that they keep trying to hit these targets. And when they don't, yes, you change up the team, and that's why we've used the players we have this year, and we'll continue to do it. At the end of the year, we'll see who are the players who are going to take us forward and continue to do that. But you can't just not have patience all of a sudden, just go bang, that's it, I've had enough, because we don't have another 40 players to bring in. And we do believe in these players. They have played some good footy, and what they were able to do in the second half is shown what they can do there. They weren't able to do it in the first half due to Fremantle's pressure and due to our inability to execute it well enough.
Kane, one of the measures of any good team is that they will perform at home and actually make it their stamping ground. Is there a reason why the team just couldn't make their stand from the very beginning today?
Yeah, we certainly addressed that after the game, and we had a really good week on the track and knew exactly how they were going to play and knew exactly how we wanted to play against them. So the early start, and we spoke about that, really suiting us, having it, been an hour and a half behind in Perth, so pretty early for them. We wanted to have a really good start, but disappointing that, as Matty said, we weren't able to match them inside, and then they were able to beat us on the outside as well. So yeah, I can't give you an explanation as to why that is.
And how did that pressure feel for you in that first half? It looked pretty exceptional how they linked in to the trap you in spaces.
Yeah, they're as good as anyone. Just the numbers around the ball that they bring, and the spare players that that they're able to generate. They're pretty smart. They bring lots of numbers up, and you've always got a guy on your face when you've got the ball. So it's one of the hardest things in footy is to execute a skill when you've got that pressure around you. And we'll continue to practice it and continue to train it, and hopefully it gets better for this group moving forward.
Matthew, if we do a track run for Port Adelaide, it's peaks and troughs all through the year. What's going to make it consistent?
Evening out those peaks and troughs. Those peaks and troughs have evened out a hell of a lot from last year. They've evened out from what we have even in the previous years. We're in games. We're not getting blown away. Our winning margin has improved this year. Our losing margin has come down significantly. So, there is improvements in that. We've had individual players play well. Andrew Moore's an example. I think 4 or 5 touches in the first half. Ends up with 24, I think, by the end of the game. So it has 20 in the second half. So ability to even that out over the game and over a season is what's going to get rid of those peaks and troughs. You're never going to get rid of them. Every team's got them. Even the best teams have them. But it's ability when you have good peaks that you actually identify that and hit that with the scoreboard. And we're probably not being able to do that when we have our big peaks, which makes it when we have our troughs harder for us. But we're better than what we were last year, but it's still not good enough, and we're still demanding a high standard of it.
The last year was easy because we know that wasn't good enough.
Yep.
So how far short are you of what should be acceptable at Port Adelaide?
What's acceptable at Port Adelaide is you, like every other club, you want to win more games than you lose. You want to play finals and you end up wanting to win the premiership. At the moment, we're a fair way from that, but we understand that. We're building towards it. We want to get there quickly, real quickly, and our ability to do that, our ability to learn from it, our ability to keep developing this squad is what we have to do. And by the end of the year, we're going to be significantly improved from last year. We'll be improved from the year before, maybe not in wins and losses, but we'll be an improved team from the year before. Our list will be improved, and then we've got to take the next step from there. But by the end of the year, we'll be a better team than what we were at the start of the year, and that's going to give us a good stead into the future. But right now, we're just trying to focus on win every week, and we weren't good enough today.
The one thing that you can't escape from is you need to draw people through the games.
Yep.
Do you enjoy watching it?
No, I didn't enjoy watching the first half, but I enjoyed watching the second half. I enjoyed watching the first 3 quarters against Essendon. I didn't enjoy watching the last quarter against Essendon. I can't remember who else before that we played at home. So I enjoy our footy, not only when we're winning the score, but when we're involved in games. You win more games, more people will come to your grounds. That's proven whether you're Collingwood Football Club or whether you're Port Adelaide Football Club, and we have to do that. But it's not as easy as just imagine waving the magic wand and saying, rightio, here's 17 wins. And we're striving to do that. We understand that when you don't win as many, it's harder for people to come along to your games. But we love the 14,000 that come today. We're going to keep employing them to come to our next 2 home games and see if we can get a win from there.
Do you think there's an understanding from the outside? Every team has a definition about the way they play their footy. Do you think it's known outside what Port Adelaide wants to do with their style of footy?
I would have thought so, yeah.
So do you want to tell us what it should be? There's a lot of people who say they don't understand what Port Adelaide are trying to do with their style of footy.
Well, our style of football is we want to be very good in our contested situation. We want to move the ball quickly. We want to dominate inside 50s without giving anything away that from internally what we're going to do. But we're not good enough at being able to do that for 4 quarters. So I'll say for people that the way we played in the second half is the way we'd like to play against a defensive team like Fremantle. Against an attacking team like Essendon, the way we played the first 3 quarters was the way you need to play against them. And that first half against Essendon, that's how we'd love to play football. So go back and review the tape and have a look at that. That's how we want to play. When we've won games this year, we've played similar brand of football. Tough, in close. We're good at that. Contested stuff, we want to be known for that. And we want to move the ball with some fluency. We struggle to do that at times. We're not hiding by that fact, but that's the way we want to continue. So it's ability, when the ball's in the contest, we want to be a good contested team. That's got to be our bread and butter of how we want to play footy. Today it wasn't good enough for 4 quarters, and when it was on the heat and when it counted, we got shown up.
Have you mentioned patience and the ups and downs? How much frustration are you living with on a day-to-day basis? As
much as any coach whose team isn't going to be playing finals right at the moment. It's you can see the frustration of teams that are close to getting there but aren't quite good enough to win. You can see it in teams that now are inside the 8 at the moment but aren't playing good football and losing heavily. You can see the frustration in them. So I'm no different to any other coach, the frustration of when you don't play like you want to and you're not able to quite sustain and good enough, and when you do show you're good enough, why can't we do it more often? So that frustration's there, but as a coach, that's the coaching world. In any sport, that's a playing, in any sport, you have frustrations. You can't play the way you want to do the whole time. But your ability to stick at it longer than the opposition and be good enough to be able to stick at it longer than the opposition, that's what we've got to keep aiming towards.
Okay, obviously you've been very encouraged by developing a lot of your younger players. But I thought today some of your senior players made some just basic errors that they've played over 100 games and they shouldn't be making this. Is that what really gets at you at times? The frustration. Is that what hurts most?
Any time you make poor decisions or skill error in today's game costs you, whether you're Chad Wingard who's played 10 games or you're Kane who's played 250. All players have them. I'm more focused on the skill department of it rather than whether you've played 150 games or played 5 games. It's any of them hurt you as much as they can, and we've just got to keep trying to get better at that.
Can you been here from where this club built from nothing to 2 grand finals? What does it need to get back there?
It was a long time ago now, Rooch, and it's you have to really sit down and think about it. But footy was played, a lot differently back then. Certainly I think with the recruiting that we've done and the guys that we've brought into the club, they're at the age where they're going to play a lot of footy together, and the only way to get better is to have that core group of, 50 to 150 game players playing a lot of footy together and building to something that resembles a finals side. So, I think certainly the list management and Matty have started to plant the seeds of doing that, and they'll continue to do that at the end of this year and moving forward.
Thanks, guys.